Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose, and this is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Here, I'm going to discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. I'll do a quick review of the day's aspects, and then I'll play another card that may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that sits on the side of the page right now is the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands relates astrologically to the second 10 days or the second decan of the sun's transit in the land of Leo. Leo is a fire sign. Wands in Tarot are fire. And when we're talking about fire element, we're talking about fire. Okay, so we're talking about enthusiasm, drive, spark, passion. What do I want to say? Yeah, enthusiasm, drive, spark, passion, excitement, restlessness, sometimes impetuousness or impatience. Okay, fire is whatever it is that you feel that makes you actually want to get up and go do something actively. Okay, so here with the Six of Wands, we have V for victory. I mean, you can see that V right there in the middle of the card, right? Made out of the two staffs. So what we see here is a person who has made some sort of an achievement that is a big enough achievement that other people have turned out to recognize them. And they've laid the laurel wreath on their head, and they've got one on their staff, and they're well supported, riding back in their victorious way. When we have put a lot of ourselves into something, especially a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of enthusiasm, just a lot of push, a lot of active trying to make something happen. When we've done that, it is worthwhile when we achieve something big, and especially if it's something that we achieve that benefits, not just ourselves but other people. It's appropriate to celebrate yourself. It's appropriate to allow other people to celebrate you, to allow people to thank you for what you have done, and to sort of cheer you on. And we have to remember that this is but a moment in time, okay? We can, as they say, try to rest on our laurels. You can enjoy the fruits of that victory, but if you don't do anything with the capital you gain from it, political, social, financial capital that you gain from the victory, then that capital is going to dwindle over time. Right? So the smart thing to do is to celebrate and to get everybody feeling enthusiastic about the next thing that you're enthusiastic about, so that you can take that capital you've gained with your last achievement and push it toward the next bigger, better thing, right? Okay, and with that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Leo. The sun is in Leo, and this is a time to shine. It's a time to put on that regal air, to fix our heads for a crown, and take on that sort of high self-opinion, okay? Understanding that I am in charge of my life, that I am the queen of me. Okay, this is a good time to notice what you do well and to be proud of yourself for it, to pat yourself on the back, to allow yourself to celebrate what you've achieved and allow other people to celebrate you too. And also remember, we're all in the sun, Leo, so don't forget to appreciate those people that come out to appreciate you. The moon is in Sagittarius. It's a waxing gibbous. So moon and Sag, our hearts grow generous and they seek expansion. We want to connect with the world and see what we can take from that connection in terms of wisdom. So the waxing crescent here is a chance to revise our plans in the moment so that we can stretch out and get more out of the culmination. Sagittarius is a great time, it's great for acting on the goals that we're trying to reach, right? That we're trying to culminate in time for that new moon. But it's also a great time for revision because we can just see bigger ideas and we can go for them. Or we can see, a different approach to the plan that gets us a better outcome, and that's what we're going for. Okay, and then on the moon side of the page today, we have the moon goes trine to Jupiter early this morning. That's really a blessed position. We can be very comfortable with sharing ourselves. That trine is really just like Spirit is looking out for you and wants you to connect with people and share what you have. And when you do, we receive the benefit of that. And then early tomorrow morning at 1:11, moon goes sextile to Saturn. And this is really a feeling of stability and security in our heart and home. So, that's a good time to be working on things that build the strength in the heart and the home. And then on the sun side of the page today, we have a few things happening today. Venus is going trine to Neptune today. This will be with us through August 13th. This is very much about creating, okay? But not just creating like doodling, not just creating like idle creation. We really want to get in a mode of creating from the heart, okay? And Venus says, let's talk about what it is that we'd like to receive. Create something that sort of embodies and shows the world, gives the world a clue what it is that we're trying to draw in, right? Because this trine blessing with Neptune here says, Spirit is listening. Spirit wants to know what delights you. Spirit wants to know what you desire. So please tell it, express it some way. Sun goes trine to moon this afternoon, and that is the quarter shadow moon, or the 3/4 lit moon there. And it says that we're blessed in our efforts. That's outer life and inner life, the expressing life and the feeling life, in a very blessed, highly functioning relationship with one another, which is great because we are just a few days from that full moon. So we are really working to culminate those goals this time. And then also today, this afternoon, Mars goes square to Saturn. So this is kind of a square peg round hole feel, okay? Mars and Saturn together, this always says there's work to do, okay? This is action and stability. We're going to work. But the square says, sometimes when you work, like the harder you try to make something work, the more it pushes back, the more you get stopped, the more things get in the way. So let's avoid that square peg round hole syndrome. Let's keep at work on the things that we already know how to do and the things that come easily to us. And then, when if we have to try something bigger, something unusual, something that's very important to our foundations, we really have to slow down and think as we go. Okay, we can't be too aggressive about it because really we can wind up beating our heads against the wall. So if you are trying to make headway on something that you're working on and it's not happening, it's probably a good idea to sort of step back and maybe move to the side a little bit, try a different approach, okay? Because at this time, it's like the harder you just try, the more you're just gonna beat your head against that wall. In the ongoing column today, Venus is sextile to Mars, very creative, but also quincunx to Saturn, saying, we would like a little more leisure time. We would like a little more recreation and creativity time. If your life is all work and no play right now, I understand. However, we've got to find a balance, okay? We've got to not be working to live, because if that's the case, then we're missing out. And then North Node is conjunct to Uranus. This has been bringing us in some anxiety or some anxiety, apparently, about resources. Sort of this shifting trajectory, things cost more, or it's just hard to get your hands on the things that you want to get. And that can be, as far as material resources, definitely, but also, in terms of just like the attention you want to get, the things you want to draw to you. Not so much just landing in our lap right now, okay? But that's okay. We are learning to be a little more flexible and creative up here about, being open to receiving things obtained in an unconventional way, or just being open to receiving things that meet a need in an unconventional way. We're creative and we're ready to do that. Sun is trine to Jupiter. This is good fortune, especially in terms of personal growth, and especially if you are working on the personal growth, right? Jupiter matches your contribution. So if you want good fortune from Jupiter, you've got to be doing the work. And right now, Jupiter's asking you to expand on the inside, to really step into the growth that we're undergoing. And we are undergoing growth because we're undergoing deep transformations, okay, like foundational to us. Like we might not recognize ourselves next year, okay? So this is a good time to be sort of embracing the idea of personal growth and going through changes, embracing the new as it comes into our life, because stuff is going to be getting left behind us. And every time something gets left behind us, a new something arises, right? Neptune is retrograde, no illusions. You can try to fool yourself, but you will know better, and so will the people around you. And Chiron retrograde, I wrote the open floor plan there because it's been very much lately in my side about deconstructing walls or defenses, figurative defenses that we have put up over time in response to our wounds of self-expression, like when we tried to express ourselves and we got somehow, called down or teased or somehow, embarrassed or harmed over it. So, we're going for that open floor plan. We're going to tear down these defenses. And that's in part because we need to be open to resources. We need to be able to talk to people about what it is we're looking for, what we're trying to get, what we need and desire. And with all of that said, okay, friends, I did shuffle that, but I think we've gotten the Eight of Swords like 3 times now. Let's go for the Knight of Cups. I'll put this over here. I'll just keep that in mind. I mean, there are 78 cards. Okay, so the Knight of Cups is a person who is in touch with how they feel. They know their own heart, and that is a very good way to be. The Knight of Cups is very supported, not only by the fact that they know their own heart, but also probably by a lot of emotional connections to other people. And they come bearing sort of an offer or a gift of an emotional or an intuitive or a creative experience. I see this blessed when we share that moon trine to Jupiter. This looks like a sharing kind of vibe. Emotional security, definitely the Knight of Cups would like to offer that, and they are somewhat experienced with it, so they may be able to do so. But also, cups remind me of Neptune here, that sort of dreamy, watery Neptune in Pisces state, which is more about the creativity and the intuitive landscape. Right now we are blessed when we dream. We are blessed when we seek to get in touch with how we feel and also what we know intuitively. And, because Neptune is retrograde, we can't be fooled, okay? It's okay to dream. It's okay to fantasize. It's okay to think up your ideals, your ideal job, your ideal partner, your ideal living space, whatever it is. It's okay to do that because you can tell the difference between the fantasy and the reality, and that helps you be able to see like which direction you move, right? In reality to go toward that dream. Get on your horse and ride, right? Yeah, and then, Venus and Mars up here getting creative. Venus has a cup. Mars probably has a wand. Here we go. This is a way to get creative here, although these both are walking in the same direction, and it's toward the future, and it's also back toward this Eight of Swords. What am I not seeing here, friends? I am going to say, there might be some anxiety about resources here. Okay. Part of the reason that people stay in messed up situations that they got themselves into is that they're worried about being able to maintain the level of resources that they've gotten. Often we talk ourselves into these situations with like a partner we thought was ideal for one reason, but who is actually not a good fit for us, or a job we thought that was ideal because it paid really well, but it's not actually a good fit for us, right? We get ourselves into these situations thinking they're ideal because we will be well resourced, we will have the stability that we seek. But the truth of the matter is that we wind up having to sort of hide ourselves, sort of disappear behind this facade, and pretend to be someone else. And so we go unexpressed in those relationships, those workplace or those private relationships. And, we have to get in touch with our real feelings, okay? I've known many people who do this. I have done this myself, where you sort of acquiesce yourself into a situation, or you even actively plan to get yourself into a situation that you just don't know how poorly it resonates with who you are, and you don't know how poorly you're going to, how poorly you're going to feel when you can't express yourself honestly in that situation. Yeah, and then you have to figure it out, okay? You have to get in touch with your feelings. You have to be honest with yourself first and foremost, okay? So be in touch with your feelings and ask yourself what it would look like for you to be winning, okay? Ask yourself what would count as victory. If you sit down and you get in touch with your feelings and you find that you're frustrated, I think what I was going to say is a lot of people get themselves into these situations and then they're not in touch with their feelings. They're very much in denial about the fact that they're in an unexpressed situation, but they also feel very frustrated, okay? And when you get to that place where you're in denial but you're very frustrated, you're going to act out. People do the strangest things. They do and say the strangest things, okay? So this is why it's important. That situation that you created that does not really work for you is not going to last one way or the other. But you really want to be the one in charge of getting you out of that situation. Okay, so really think about how you feel. Really think about what it is you want to accomplish. And these are your internal tools, okay? These are things that you have no end of. Compassion, love, even love for yourself, and drive and spirit and spark, enthusiasm. Something excites you. Hopefully something excites you, right? This person doesn't have any of those things, but they're on the inside, okay? So you have to resource yourself some self-love and resource yourself some self-drive, and ask yourself, what would my life look like if I were more expressed? What would I have to do to make myself feel like I had a victory? What would I have to do to let other people know what it is that I need and desire? Venus. All right, I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Obviously, the cards have been asking us to think about that Eight of Swords disappearing act a little bit extra lately. Now you've got two people sort of pointing to the Eight of Swords saying, really, you've got to think about getting out of this situation. So who's in this situation? Who's got themselves bound and their eyes covered? Who does not realize that they have all the tools at their disposal? Or perhaps they do, but they choose to continue pretending and living in denial because they want to hold on to those resources. But listen, you can have your anxiety about resources. You can always get more resources, but you cannot get the days of your life back that you've spent pretending to be someone else and being miserable doing it. And I think that's the bottom line there, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Melrose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.